Father, thank you for this beautiful day you've given to us. We just thank you for the hope and the spirit of growth that we have in our town. We thank you for the leadership, especially these people who have gathered here this evening to do the business of the city of Jamestown. We pray your blessings on this meeting tonight, that all is said and done to your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I assume everyone's had time to look over the minutes for the last meeting, so if everything's good with that, I just need a motion to approve those minutes, please.
Motion approved.
Motion by second by Gail, all in favor? Any opposed? First thing we have tonight is our second reading of ordinance 2025-001 on the pay classification plan.
So ordinance updating personal pay classification plan. Whereas the City Council, City of Jamestown recognizes the city's personal policies and procedures and pay classification plan must be updated from time to time in order to remain current and maintain an effective and efficient workforce. Now therefore be ordained by the City Council, City of Jamestown, Commonwealth of Kentucky, the attached pay classification plan replaces the existing personal compensation plan and classification plan. That the personal policy and procedure pay classification plan may be waived, altered, or suspended only by change of ordinance, and this ordinance shall become effective after reading and publication requirements.
Okay, so, is it heard from Tommy? I just noticed that he wasn't. Have you heard from Tommy?
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that we tabled last month, that we need to go ahead and get something settled on this, because that's what we talked about last month. We have been out of compliance on a couple of people here because we haven't got anything passed on this. So if you all want to pass this as it is, I have a motion to pass it. If not, then I need to know what everybody's thoughts are. And it's the one that you've looked over was given to you a couple meetings back.
That's a difficult thing to set the scale there. You know, this is on average of what, a couple neighboring counties.
Well, we had two counties that we got,
Yeah.
and we showed those that, some of it was not completely the same because they didn't have the same employees as what we had with water and sewer and stuff, but we had what was the closest. It's just, we've got to do something. We've either got to pass that or, because I think that can only be tabled one time, is that correct?
It's dead after this.
If it's not, then that ordinance has to be abolished, and then you're setting without an ordinance. So this is something that we need to get settled. It's been going on 3 months.
What we got to do.
Are you making a motion to pass it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to pass.
Motion by Barry to pass the ordinance on the new pay scale classification. I'll second. Second by Gail. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. New pay scale passes, and that will go into effect. Next thing that we have is an ordinance on our city street construction, and Tyler has this. This is where we're making a change to the city street ordinance.
So ordinance amending ordinance 2008-005 relating to specs and requirements of new streets within the city of Jamestown, Kentucky. Whereas the city of Jamestown, Kentucky desires to set certain guidelines and requirements for the construction of streets within the city limits. Whereas the city of Jamestown has recommended certain specs that are applied uniformly regarding a future development of streets within the city. Now previously granted the city as department agency, contractors, subcontractors, by ordinance or otherwise, the authority to use city property, including streets, alleyways, similar property to lay and install water lines. Therefore, be ordained by the city council, city of Jamestown, Kentucky, any new street constructed in the city limits shall meet these guidelines. Right of way for any new street, the minimum of 18 feet, total graded 18 feet. Streets shall be a minimum of width of 14 feet for traffic purposes, with an additional 2 feet on each side for shoulder. Marking the graded 18 feet is recommended in item 2. Road base minimum 4 inches dense grade aggregate. As a base, 6 inches is necessary by Public Works Director. Road grade should be crowned in the center and sloped to the sides. All drainage culverts should be a minimum of 15 inches corrugated pipe. All drainage ditches necessary for city streets to be V-shaped within a minimum of 2 feet at the base of the ditch line. After dense grade is laid, must be rolled, left for an appropriate period of time, and rolled again. After the road bed specs have been met, tack coat of oil emulsion shall be spread, and a primer followed by at least 2 inches of rolled blacktop. Now therefore be ordained, the ordinance shall become effective and with publication of second reading and publication by law.
So basically what this is from last month's meeting where we voted to change the ordinance. Basically, the only thing changing is going from 20 foot to 14 foot required on city street. So that's the first reading. We'll have to do a second reading. Then after that, it will go into effect. Second thing we have is ordinance 2025-003, dedication of Ponderosa Pike. And this is where the city voted to take Ponderosa Pike into a city street.
2025-003, an ordinance declaring certain streets located in the city limits of Jamestown, Kentucky to be dedicated as public ways in the city of Jamestown, accepting said dedication. The city council of the city of Jamestown, Kentucky does hereby ordain as follows. The following streets located in the city limits of Jamestown are declared to be dedicated for public use. Said dedication is hereby accepted by the city council of the city of Jamestown, Kentucky. Ponderosa Pike. This ordinance shall be effective after its passing and publication below.
And this is the same as what we done last in first reading. We'll have a second reading, and we'll have to have that read before we can pass that. Third thing we have is a resolution 2025-003. This is a lead and copper grant, and what this pertains to is it's a grant that we applied to for the Lake Cumberland ad because it's required that the lead and copper, I don't know how much y'all know about all that's been going on, but when the city has to go out, we send out letters. You have to do due diligence to prove that you're checking to find out if you've got old pipes or for the new ones, if they have to be changed. If you don't get the letters back, then the city has to go out and do it. If it's stuff that the city ends up having to dig up holes or whatever, you can get a lot of manpower, you can get a lot of money in it. So we apply the best amount of what that would cost, and we've applied for a grant for that. We've already done a lot of the work. We're hoping to get some of this grant money to get some of our money back. So this has to be a resolution passed by the council saying it's okay that I apply for that grant.
It's resolution 2025-003, where the city of Jamestown proposes to complete lead service line inventory within the city of Jamestown service area. Whereas the city of Jamestown endorses said proposed service, whereas under the terms of Safe Drinking Water Act amendments of 1996 and the amendments to KRS 224A, the state is authorized to render financial assistance to eligible product applicants by the way of capitalization grants from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and state match funds utilizing the Federal Assisted Drinking Water Revolving Fund. The program is established to aid in construction of drinking water treatment facilities, improvements, and certain related facilities with consideration for approval based on applications submitted to the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet and the Kentucky Infrastructure Board. Whereas the proposed lead service line inventory performed by the city of Jamestown within the city of Jamestown service areas considered eligible for such loan assistance. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Jamestown that the mayor and successor in title are hereby authorized to execute and submit an application to the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet and the KIE such assurances and required support data as necessary to obtain loan assistance for the Federal Assisted Drinking Water Revolving Fund. for the purposes of water treatment facility improvements, and hereby authorize the City of Jamestown official project representative to carry out necessary negotiations and administer the loan assistance applicant may obtain from the Federal Assisted Drinking Water Revolving Fund.
And that's just giving me permission to sign everything to apply for these grants and to try to get some money back on this project that we're working on. So I just need a motion.
Motion to apply.
Thank you.
Motion by Barry, any second, second by William, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay. I think we have a guest here tonight, Mr. Donnie Wilkerson, not unfamiliar, so we're glad to see Donnie back every year and ready for him to talk to us again.
Thank you, Mayor, and as one of the council members said out front, I knew when they saw me coming, I'm probably here asking for money, and just to not be around the bush, of course, that's what I'm here representing Artworks again, and I hope you've been keeping up with what all's been happening. I would encourage you, if you haven't been up to see that, of course, it's been open now for some time, but Artworks on the Square is a state-of-the-art silks facility. I don't know if you peeked in there, but it's like something you'd see in New York City, and that's not an exaggeration. And obviously, the Smart Start program here on Main, the library is going strong. We have a waiting list there, and of course, our big new development's Artworks at the Creek. If you haven't had a chance to drive down and drive that new road, it's really nice down there. The stage is the metal's almost done on that, and there's going to be a waterfall there. There's a whole lot of things happening that I'm sure John and Cheryl Adams and the Woodland Farm Foundation, who are the benefactors that have really made all these things happen, and my hat off to them. And if you ever have a chance to see them, thank them for their community service, because they have sure really done a yeoman's task here in Jamestown, Russell County. But we have summer camps coming up. We have lots and lots of kids that will participate, and we did last year, and we all graciously funded at least part of the scholarships. And I think last year you were gracious enough to give us 10 scholarships, and they're $200 a piece. We're asking for a contribution of $2,000 to go toward those scholarships, and we will award those to. And we do screen based on need. So a lot of kids that wouldn't otherwise get to avail themselves of these opportunities will get to go because of these scholarships. I do have one additional request, and it's not monetary, it's less to the extent of the cost, and I don't know what the legalities of this. It would really be nice if there could be a sign where we cross the pedestrian across from Artworks on Main, the old library crossing right there. I was wondering if there could be a sign that said pedestrian crossing. Is that possible to do that?
Have to go through the state.
It's a state.
It's a
I can get hold of it.
And if I need to do something, or John or somebody needs to do something, we'll be happy to. But that would really be, there's quite a bit of traffic, especially with kids sometimes. And during camps, we'll be going from, because the camps don't just take place at the creek, sometimes they'll be all through, because we have several different camps at different age groups during this period of time. So twofold request, I suppose. One, and
You marked this crossing, didn't it? I can't remember.
there is a painted crosswalk there. And you know, you might want to consider that at the main one in town too. There's not a sign there, but I guess where do you draw the line? But that one is maybe one that people don't expect to stop. So
Yeah.
So anyway, if you have any questions about Artworks, I'd be happy to try to answer. Otherwise, I know your time is short, and I apologize for only coming when begging. I'm there anytime if you need anything on there to help. Just holler. I'd encourage one other thing while I have your attention. I'm sure many of you listen, but a lot of things happening with Russell County Bicentennial. If you tune in the morning, WJRS, listen to community conversations at 7:15. We've got lots of people on, talking about the community. And some of you, Mayor, I know you've been on, and all things Russell. Those are fascinating programs. A lot of times they touch on some really great things in Russell County's history and Jamestown in particular. So participate if you can at all in the bicentennial activities. And again, anytime I can help with anything, feel free to call me. I'm like you all, local of Jamestown. So that's my request, and I thank you for your time.
They also give away $50 on Wednesday.
Oh,
and
I
can
forgot that.
never-
Ross
And I can never get
Carson
through.
County trivia, yeah, I know, yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, I Google really fast and have Siri searching things, and as soon as I know the answer, phone's busy,
Yeah.
busy. So I can't never get through. And I have been down to the creek on the new road.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very nice.
if you come in from the old entrance, you can, and when you pull up to the gate, it opens automatically, so you can get out, so don't let that gate fool you.
I kind of wondered about that. I thought,
Yeah.
I think up there I would have a rough
Yeah,
time getting turned around.
Eventually, those will be gated, for security purposes, but for now, the other one's open. Well, it closes at dusk, the old one, and you can go in that way if you wanted to see what it looks like. But it's lit down there, it's safe and marked, it's gonna be really neat. Really neat.
The whole configuration, everything, it's pretty amazing.
It is,
It
it is.
just keeps growing, keeps growing.
Very
A lot of
nice.
good things happening in Jamestown and Russell County. We are,
It is.
we're an exceptional place.
We're gonna have a big celebration for Jamestown next year.
That's right.
200
Yeah.
years for Jamestown next year,
Yeah.
so we've got to start working on that
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
But, back to Tyler, we'll get with the state and see what we can find out, and if that's something that they'll allow us to do, we'll be glad to work on getting that done. So we'll do that, but then, back to, you're asking for $2,000 again to fund 10 scholarships, is that correct?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I just, need a motion.
Motion made.
Motion by William to grant the $2,000.
Second.
Second by Mitchell, all in favor? Any opposed? All right.
Thank you all very much.
Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
And, Jeff, got anything?
No, just remember Deputy Phipps this week. It's National Police Week. He's being honored. His name is going on the wall in Washington, D.C. It may have already happened, but this is National Police Week, so he gave the ultimate sacrifice for this community. Just ask for a moment of your thoughts for that.
I think that did happen. I believe I seen a post somewhere that they did that, so, yeah. I always try to remember him. Anybody else have anything before yes, Jeff?
Jeff Perkins, I spoke last month. I am still serious about, trying to subdivide that and build it. And I know to ask you all for the complete money for all the blacktop is probably a little ridiculous. But, I would like you all to be able to consider it once we get started. We gotta get a surveyor down there first. That's a slow process right now, so. I just wanted to keep y'all updated on that and let you know what's going on. And that's kind of where I'm at on it, and still months away. Kind of want to update y'all on what we're doing. And I think, I just want y'all to be thinking about, would you allow some of the money, for blacktop, once we get to that point.
Thank you, Jeff. Only thing that I guess just, Debbie, you want to give a little bit of updates on Lake Fest, where we're at and what all?
We've got the bands under contract. One's gonna be a contribute to Leonard Skinner, one's a contribute to Alabama, Marty Brown's coming. I think Tyler's got the, fireworks lined out. What else? Let's see. we've
Elvis, I think.
Elvis is gonna be at Beck Park, and that Hammond.
I think if that's, he had contacted me earlier and was interested in that. I do see that they've got a new band now and playing a lot of places, so we'll have to get with him
Yeah.
and see if that's still something
We need
he wants to do. Yeah.
I haven't talked to Lisa lately, but last time I talked to her, she had the run under control, because she always does. And I'm thinking Tammy and Toby and them probably everything for the pageant. We've got several vendors lined up. Anything else you can think of?
Kids games still, I guess. We're thinking, actually, we've talked to the car club about, I think we discussed moving the cars down here to the Christian church parking lot. And they've agreed that it's okay for us to do that, and then maybe move the tractors on it in between there or over in the parking lot.
Yeah, I was thinking
At
like
the
the
judicial.
judicial parking lot maybe.
Yeah.
Where the wrestling will be Friday night, that can be Saturday.
and then maybe stretch some vendors on down toward the Christian church on one side to where we could pick up a little more vendor space, and then have people closer down there where the car show and stuff is too.
Yes.
And then wrestling on Friday night. I did talk to the guy that's over the high school wrestling, Scott Boring, and asked him if he would just be interested, if the people who had the ring would allow some of his to do just a little pre-thing, just to give them some attention. If not, they could at least do a little talk and give them a little bit of attention, you know, toward what they're doing, because it's new at the school this year, and they're trying to get as much going on that as possible. And he's very excited, just really appreciative that we were asking him, you know, if they would like to do that. So he's going to talk to them. Maybe if you want to talk to the people that puts on the wrestling to see if they would
Probably
be.
just gotta get them in, get them, that way they can get the ring set up early enough.
And just be a few minute little thing, maybe
Yeah.
just let them do something to kind of just showcase what they do.
How are we doing on electric out there on the poles? Did we ever get that approved, Tyler?
I'm not, Les was talking to him last night.
Les has been waiting on an electrician, he's called 2 or 3 times, I don't know where it's
We
at
gotta run
right
some
now.
electric cords for it and everything.
He was trying to get an electrician out, and I think it was last week, I talked to him about it, and he was still, he said if he didn't hear back from him, he's gonna try to get hold of somebody else, but he had somebody that's supposed to come out and look at it. So we were working on that.
I think other than that, I think it's pretty good. It just, it'll all come together. I think we can,
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. We thought about maybe trying to set a few cornhole boards just out around town, maybe just if people were. And I did talk to, we've got 2, I think, extra benches that we did have that we've got painted and stuff now that we were gonna put out around town somewhere. So I talked to Heather at Real Jonathan and said, I think it would be a good idea because there's so many people standing up there a lot. You know, when you have some elderly people or people that's got little kids, if we put a couple of those benches up in that area, you know, maybe one in front of Real Jonathan, one kind of more in the corner, and they was good with that, yeah. Said that would be a good idea to have those.
High school's been making some really good heavy-duty wood picnic tables
We've got
at the
those
vocational school
ones.
this month or something.
that match, that was, they were old and they looked pretty rough.
I was just thinking something like that, if you had a tent somewhere that you stick up or something, put 4 or 5, 6 of those underneath it or something.
Yeah, we just thought that would be a good.
Did
use
the
for
girl
those.
from tourism, she ever get back with you, anything on the garden? I didn't know if she ever found anything out on it or not.
No. Also, we met with Dan, I met with Dan Woodard actually this week. They are in the process, they're now selling more of the bricks that go up on the square. So I met with him because we were gonna try to revamp that square a little bit. If you go up on it, some of the bricks are starting to sink in, the little, what are they called, the little pavers, I was trying to think of, pavers are starting to sink, a lot of the concrete's breaking up on the sides. So we had thought about getting some prices on maybe taking the middle where those pavers are, squaring that off and maybe doing a concrete stamping up there on that part. Because it's getting pretty bad shape, and if we don't get something done to it, it's gonna continue to get worse. And then too, where those bricks are that they're selling, a lot of that water gets down in those and then it freezes. And so we're trying to do something there to keep the rest of that in pretty good shape for a while. Leave the grass and then maybe put a few more hanging pots and stuff up on the square, just to kind of keep that maintenance and updated a little bit to where hopefully it won't be so hard to maintain and keep it in good shape. If you go up there and look it's starting to, you don't see it as much unless you go up there, but it's starting to get a lot of wear and tear on what's up there.
And more and more people go up there now anymore too.
So, and if we're gonna continue, to put those bricks and things up there, and they have started selling them again, and I think they've already had people call and want to buy them, so we're gonna try to, I've called 3 different people to come and look at it and give us some prices, and only one has called back and showed up, so, we'll see if we hear from the other ones, but anyway, we'll just get some prices to see what that would be, to try to revamp that square a little bit.
Daniel will kill me for bringing this up, because he told me he would, but I was thinking some hanging pots of, like red, white, and blue petunias or something. Some hanging around the square would be awful pretty for during Lake Fest or something.
That's what we talked about, either putting some kind of, you would have to have something of high, dances that they have the big hooks that are going 8 foot tall, that you could just kind of put on the sides
Yeah.
and hang. Now, I would like to see, and this is something that's just my thought, I'd like to get some of the brackets for the poles that go all around town, you know?
That's
And
what I was
just put some
thinking.
of the brackets on the poles that's there to put some hanging pots on, just to go around town, all around the
I
square.
mentioned it to him before it's shooting last week. He said, you better keep your mouth shut. I've got more flyers now than I want to water.
He likes the flowers, he just says stuff, but he really does them. We do have new pot things up there, but they're really pretty. They're, you know, last year we had trouble with the pots. They got
He said you
really
kept blowing over.
blown over. We tried to pick them up one night, didn't we? On the square, and it just was falling to pieces, and it was heavy, and you couldn't, so we've got those things down now. So hopefully, and we have 2 more coming, right?
We've got 6 more.
6 more coming.
And
For the,
they'll be big.
they're gonna be pretty.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. So they were huge.
Pumpkin things come out, we'll have those.
So what, he'll put 3 5-gallon buckets in upside down, so you just have so much
And then
dirt.
we can get some hooks,
Yeah,
just to put some.
They're like dots of pickup, man.
That's what he
You ever
said.
go down
He said,
and
"Oh, all over this stuff."
Give it straight, just put those hanging baskets, it just looks really good, so. HK, anything?
I want to brag on the city for putting the flag back up after it blew down and all that equipment. I was there when it fell, and a few of us reached over and grabbed it and brought it in. There was a time it would probably still be empty, but under this leadership, it was just a couple of days, it was back up, and I appreciate that. And I don't know where they got the iron, where they get the mechanical stuff, Trey, to put it back up. I mean, the whole thing tore up, didn't it?
Oh, he's there.
Yeah, they had.
They were right on it, and new flag, new everything, it was great. And actually, we should have a ceremony, I thought, because that's just me, I'm on that stuff, but it was great. I
Yeah,
appreciate the city.
yeah, it
Did
did.
y'all notice that? I put it back up.
And it wasn't something that you could just go get the flag and put it back up.
No.
All that had to be redone.
We had a cherry picker out there, and I was directing and everything, it was great.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
I know that when it failed, they heard it in the sheriff's office. They
Oh, yeah.
actually thought that it was the whole pole.
I saw it fall, it was right
The
out.
piece was so big that
Our
failed.
front
Did you?
window.
Crash. It's done good as it was another car again.
I want to make, shout out to Nathan Bradshaw and Trevor Stonecipher and somebody else in the office, one of the directors.
They got the flag, didn't they, when it went down,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was great.
Yeah, so, city does a good job. They're always on top of stuff. I called on the Battle Road that I had a guy call me about 2 days ago, and it was fixed yesterday, just potholes, just little potholes, you know, nothing big, but it was something that needed fixed and wasn't aware of them, but it was fixed the next day, so they got right out there and got on it. And he sent me a text back and said, wow, you know, appreciate y'all fixing that. He said he stopped and talked to them, but when they was out there fixing it, but yeah, they got right on it and got it fixed, so. Anyway, anybody else have anything? Anything? If not, Josh, you got anything you want to say?
Come on, Josh.
Come on, Josh.
tell them what happened to us going up that road. Tell them what happened to us. Tell them what happened to us. We rode the golf cart out there, and our power went out, Donnie. We couldn't wait for other ones to see all the stuff in the creek. And we had to push, didn't we? We had to push all the way back up the hill. And I will tell the rest of it because Jeff Kearns is in here. I'm in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble with Jeff. But anyway, anybody doesn't have anything else? I just need a motion to dismiss.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There you go. Thank you.
All right, good meeting.